one. There we go. Hello, welcome to the first episode of my podcast, the AIRSHIP Lounge, where we just sit around and talk about all manners of things. My first guest on this channel is my good friend Flipping the Switch. Introduce yourself.
What's going on? I'm Flipping the Switch. A lot of people just call me Stu. I run what is now a borrowing streaming service. Occasionally I make other shit. Every once in a while I get into some fun Twitter drama, so I have fun over there too. But I don't know, a lot of people typically refer to me as the last cool kid on the internet. I think it's my favorite insult I've ever been called. But yeah, from there, other than that, not much to tell. Just your typical strange internet ghost floating around here having fun.
Nice. Welcome to the stream. I actually invited you on here because you were the first person I did a podcast with. So I wanted to...
Yeah, you were one of our Liquored Up Live for season 1 guests, weren't you?
Yep, because I think I saw Kaiser on it once, and I was like, you know what, that looks kind of cool. And we had met because through the Gerard stuff that had happened all those months ago.
I remember that. Oh yeah, something like Is he in trouble again, sort of?
I think they discovered more about it. All I've seen so far of it is like one thumbnail saying that Gerard ate $600,000 worth of sandwiches.
Oh gosh, that's got to be. I know who that's going to be anyway. That's God, what's his name? Slotham or whatever. But yeah, he was on a roll there for a while. Him and Smash JT were chasing that ambulance, man. Making like 3 or 4 videos a day on that guy.
Yeah.
And eating $500,000 worth of stuff like that full or whatever. That guy.
Yeah. I just...
YouTube's such a crazy place, man.
It really is. It's so fascinating to be making content and then just the concept of like learning about this guy that you actively looked up to, like respected. Like, hey, this guy who's constantly running charities. He was constantly giving scenes to people who had like indie games that he wanted to talk about. Just that he had like over $500,000 he never donated is wild.
Yeah, which honestly, like if you know me, I'm like the evil king of numbers as far as macroeconomics and things of that nature, man. And so it actually gets worse when you run the numbers and you figure out that oh yeah, inflation aided all that shit too.
Yeah.
Instead of that money going to work for whatever those charities are, that money literally just fucking sat there for years.
I think my favorite comment about the whole thing was when I was reading some of the community posts he had. Like, top comment was this dude with a Hank Hill PFP saying, hey guys, don't get mad at him for hiding this money. He's the completionist. He was just waiting to get to 1 million.
Yeah, well, he was going to donate once he got to 1 million subs, and then he was going to just say, hey, actually, I'm just now donating, so I'm completing my fucking career.
Yeah. It's, oh boy.
Yeah, but it just goes to show you the pitfalls of content creation in YouTube. Because here's the thing, like, and it's one of the things my new project's going to be about when I finally pull the plug on Flipping the Switch and start my new efforts. Is one of the things I want to talk about is algorithmic horror, and and basically what's happening is a lot of people have a common misconception about what YouTube actually is, Crimson. What they think it is, it's just like, okay, I put my video out there and then people will tune in and watch my video. That's not what's happening. What's actually happening is you put your video on a platform owned by a billion-dollar mega corporation, and they operate an algorithm that is a algorithmic middleman between you and those customers.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's actually happening. And so because that algorithm works a certain way, actually happens is you end up serving that algorithm, whether you want to or not. Most content creators fall into the trap of chasing that algorithm and chasing the videos that do well and chasing the things the algorithm rewards. And that is how you get from somebody who has a great idea, which is, hey, I'm going to complete a game a week. How he has the fucking time to do that, I'll never understand.
For me, it's...
About my experience with that.
I mean, for me, it's I play a whole shitload of games at once because I just have, and it's not even for like chasing the algorithm. I've got like really shitty ADHD, so I'll be playing something and then it's like 10 hours in. Ooh, what's this shiny thing over here? I'm like a fucking crow who sees a penny.
Well, but what I mean is, yeah, it starts off like that, and then that's how you get from that point to a point where now you're running charity bullshit, right?
Right.
That's how you get to it. power differential aspect there too, where you can actually start to ask your viewers for things. You can ask them not just to like and subscribe, but hey, send me money too, and not just send me money, send this good cause money. And who knows if it ever even freaking get there? You just have to kind of trust, right?
Yeah, like as
That's
someone,
like if I were to ever set anything like that up, not that I would because it freaking terrifies me. If I were ever to set something like that up, like here's a link directly, you go donate directly to them, and if you want, just say, hey, I did this from Flippin's channel. But yeah, I'm never taking a dime directly. No way, man. Not
the
not for charity.
the most I would do for anything like that is if one day I opened a Patreon. Like that's probably the furthest I'll ever go. Like I have stuff like PayPal's and Ko-Fi's, but at the end of the day, like I do my best never really to mention them all that much. They're just kind of linked to my channel in case people want to donate.
Sure, right. In case somebody wants to send you free gifts, right?
Yeah, like
Say,
there's nothing
buy
against.
me a coffee, I think is how Ko-Fi goes.
Yeah, like I think you can also change that. I think somebody made it boba tea at one point. It's like if you want to give a YouTuber money, go all for it. But
Well, yeah, and I'm not against giving YouTubers money. In fact, I give YouTubers money. I do that all the time. I don't need people to give me money. I'm in a very, very financial stable situation, so I'm kind of privileged to say that. But like, yeah, don't send me money because you probably got better uses for that money than I do.
yeah,
I have heated floors in my bathroom. I don't need your money, guys.
I'll take your money then. In fact,
Yeah, send it to Crimson.
Switch, did I tell you about this neat charity organization I found recently?
Oh, don't do that to me. I'll just give it to you, and you can do what you want with it.
Ah, good.
leave the charities out of it. You're gonna be growing a beard next time.
Oh shit. Also, are you? Quick question: are you still playing through Trails from Zero?
I'm done with Trails from Zero. I've actually moved into Trails from Azure.
Nice. Do you remember that Grimwood guy?
Yeah.
Does he not look like? Does he not look like Gerard the Completionist? Like I couldn't help but.
Gerard the Completionist like 30 years later.
Yeah, I couldn't help but point that out when I was playing the game with my friends in Discord. I was like, he looks all. I just said out of nowhere, he looks like Gerard the Completionist, and we just stuck with that. And during that whole stream, we learned what he did with the charity organization. So we just ran with the fact that he did this. That this is what happened after the charity situation.
Watch out, Crimson. Now they're gonna hear this. They're gonna take him out of the game.
Oh shit! No, he needs to stay in the game.
Grimwood is out. Grimwood is out.
No,
Like this from stuff.
you can't ruin my idea that this is Gerard 30 years later.
That's awesome.
It's
And
the
it's like, oh yeah, no, likeness to Gerard was ever intended. We apologize. But that was so funny. Like literally, couldn't make that guy up. Like, oh yeah, do you have any donations for me? Like the villager guy didn't see his stuff.
Oh, that's the perfect picture.
Yeah, that's brutal.
That was him secretly admitting to it.
Oh, that was amazing. If you found any donations.
Speaking of Sea of Stars, I really gotta play it again because I really want to play that DLC because I just got it on PC. Like the
Stars, like, so one of the things that I kind of track, and I don't think Sea of Stars was a bad game, right?
mm-hmm.
But I hold you to the standard and you give for yourself. So when you tell me you're making a game that is shooting to be Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI, two of the finest JRPGs ever made, I'm gonna hold you to that. That's your standard. It's not my standard. And you guys failed miserably at that.
Yeah.
But in the process, you still made it pretty damn good.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved Sea of Stars. It was one of my favorite games that year, but I do not, after playing like Final Fantasy VI just last year, yeah, it is nowhere near as good as Final Fantasy VI is. It's a good game. It's a really good game, but it is not as good as 6 is.
Let's talk about Final Fantasy VI. You did a hell of a good Final Fantasy VI review.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
And isn't that one of the most fantastic video games ever made? I know that game gets sucked off all the time, but there's a reason for it. There's a reason why people are lining up to do that with their mouth open.
Yes,
And
it is.
I feel like a lot of it has to do with the fact that is one of the most expertly paced games I've ever played.
It's expertly paced, expertly well written. It has some of like the best moments I've seen in an RPG. Like it is genuinely one of the best. Like I mentioned in my review, like it is genuinely one of the best games I've ever played.
It's just fun. It's just so much fun.
Yeah.
Like the time flies
Mm-hmm.
And I never forget thinking to myself, man, this is as big a game as I've ever played. I don't know if video games can or should ever get bigger than this. And I'll be damned.
They
Now we have games that are 80 hours. We have games that are 100. I think Persona was like 140 hours for me for Persona 5.
Yeah, but I also think the length of Persona 5 is meant to be because you're going through what is essentially an entire year, so it kind of makes sense for those games to be long. As
It does.
unbelievably funny as it would be to be like, oh, it's been a whole year and you've only been playing for like 15 hours,
Right.
like they did with.
I don't know. And here's the thing. I'm not saying the game's rug, but it's that time value of money thing, right? So I come from executive leadership of business. One of the things I think about is something called TMV, time value of money. And basically, what that is kind of simplified for the audiences. Concept on that is essentially that when you are putting money into something, that money has value in and of not only in and of itself, but outside of the direct dollar to dollar value. Because that money, wherever you're putting that money, there is a lost opportunity of everywhere else you could be putting that money, right?
Right.
And so it's kind of the same thing with video game hours. So yeah, Persona 5 was a fantastic experience. 150 hours as well. How many of my Switch backlog could I conquer in that 150 hours I spent on Persona? And the answer is, depending on how I carve those games up, that is anywhere from three average RPGs to like 15 or 20 arcade games.
You can measure
That
it
is
by
just
the amount of.
insane.
You can measure it by the amount of Mario threes.
Oh, yeah, no. Oh my gosh, yeah. Mario 3's, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's like 50.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Mario, I've been playing Brothership, and man, that game got a bad rep because I'm really liking it.
I haven't played a lot of it. I like what I played so far too, man. I don't understand it. Keep in mind that like you can disregard like the like yeah, I think Woodhawker put his fucking clickbait out there, so it's like whatever, man. Like
Oh yeah, the beat 'em ups
it's
thing.
that's all beat 'em ups does is clickbait. And I'm not saying he's a bad guy. OJ says he's a good guy, but like I when you're that level of clickbait, I try to avoid it
Yeah.
because like, no, that game is not as bad as your clickbait. And by the way, when I click on your video, what you're going to tell everybody is that yeah, the game's actually not that bad. That's what the clickbait is. The problem with that is a lot of people don't watch his videos; they just see his clickbait, and because he's um, such a prolific YouTuber, like that is going to be one of the pieces of data that people use when they compile their media given opinion of a said work. Coming from a hypnotist background, I often tell people it's like you actually don't have your own opinions. You have opinions that are assigned to you based on the things you watch.
Hmm.
And this is the same thing with video games. So that will be one data point in how people make their opinion. A Metacritic score is often another one. And so that's how you get these conversations that go around where nobody's actually playing the damn games, but yet they're talking about games they don't play based on the media's assigned opinion they were given.
Yeah, man. Can't you? I don't know. I'd like to put my trust in people like Grums. I'm certain they know what they're talking about.
Oh, jeez. Should we cover Grubs? I guess we can.
Let's fucking do it.
So here's okay, man. So here's what I do every time I see a Grubs post. Now I was doing this post for post for a while, Crimson, but I finally ended up having to give up and admit defeat on this because that fucking guy posts so many times. Man, it is insane how many times that guy posts. What I was doing is every time he would post, and I just hear this annoying voice from you, yeah, gamer, yeah, like every time he would post his line.
Mm-hmm.
This is the captain of the phone. Give me 1 second here.
I actually think every time I hear him, he sounds like Millhouse.
Millhouse is really good. Millhouse is actually really really good.
I don't.
So
I don't support.
I got into a little bit of a fun Twitter drama. Let me see if I can just find the picture.
You know what? I don't usually support AI, but if someone can do like an impression of Millhouse reading off Grum's tweets, I would actively be very happy to see that.
There's the picture. So all
Picture.
I was doing, and by the way, this picture got so much
Yeah, it's on the stream. Oh my god.
Yeah, blow that picture out, man.
Look at that. It's the face of masculinity right there, ladies.
Yep, there it is. So what I would do, well, anytime he would post, I would, with no commentary, just post that picture. So that is like your zoo level trolling that I'm known for doing time to time.
Beautiful.
And basically what would happen is his fans would immediately get like their back up and be like, "That's actually not how he looks. He doesn't look like that anymore." I'm like,
Is
"Buddy,
he?
I just posted a photo. Like, why are you assuming that this looks bad?"
It's so rude of you to say that.
Now it does look bad.
It does. It looks very bad.
But he doesn't look like he's worked out. He's taking double.
I like that.
See,
He looks like that one.
picture, but
He looks like that one background character in a 2000s R-rated movie when it's like maybe your perfect guy is right around the corner, and then it just flashes to him, and the girl gets a horrified face.
oh yeah, it's there's some epic stuff like that comes out of that, but yeah, just again, I'm not gonna call him a grifter. That's OJ's thing. OJ likes to call him like the grifter and shit like that, right? But I will say that like I sure wish like apparently he's promised some kind of video game he's supposed to be working on.
Ember.
Between the tweeting, yeah, between the tweeting and like the other shit he's doing, I don't see where this game's ever getting done.
It's actually some of the gameplay has leaked, and it looks absolutely horrible.
That doesn't surprise me.
Like there are people like I've been watching. I got interested like a few days ago when I like a few months. I think it was a few weeks ago actually, like about this whole game, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna look this up a little bit. Like he's on here tweeting pretty much 18 hours a day. What does this game look like? So I looked it in, and wow, I've seen PS2 games look better. And there's just also shots of people in his Discord just fucking furious with him at this point, feeling like they've been scammed, which, let's be real, they probably have.
Yeah, well, are the girls at least quote unquote hot and the pixels at least hot? Because that's his whole crusade, right? So tell
I'm,
me the women in the game are at least quote unquote hot. I mean, I don't get all of the video game pixel, but apparently these guys really, really, really super, super important to these guys. I
one
hope that this
second.
is the case for every game.
Ember.
Seems fine, because
Let's see if I can find it. Come on, really? It's not like the first thing. People were making fun of him.
well, to be fair, it's hard to find video game footage of this video game because
y-
there's just not that much.
yeah, a lot. Yeah, all I'm really finding whenever I look it up is people pointing out how it's like just uh, a scam. There's very, very little pictures. Perhaps there's one on Twitter I could find. I'm gonna check one last time because I do not care about this guy enough to look for things he makes.
Well, no, again, I lost that battle because I did not realize the sheer volume of tweets this guy does a day. Like he gives you a lot of to run for his money. Like
I'm
it's
curious.
insanity. I've never seen so much tweeting in my life. So I finally had to wait and flag and be like, yeah, I can't keep up. I can't keep up with my grown posted. I just can't. Like I don't actually have.
16K is nuts.
Unlike him, I actually have a business to run and a life. So it's like, yeah, I can't just post on Twitter all day.
Yeah, it's like a tweet every hour.
Oh, it's more than that. It's more than that.
Oh yeah, here we go.
I was done like 3 hours in, man.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Like there's like 40 posts later. Like, oh my goodness.
Because it's the only thing he really has now, honestly. When you think about it, like, he got kicked from Blizzard. His game is going nowhere.
Now, is that what actually happened? Did he get booted or did he quit? Because I know
I,
there's conflicting opinions.
I think he said he left, but a lot of people have speculated that since like literally no one from Blizzard seems to want to interact with him, it's heavily implied he got fired.
Right. I'm just again, far be it from me to be fair to this freaking weirdo. But
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's because the thing is, they're not incorrect when they say it's a video game. Just like any creative arts, it does have that more liberal slant to it, that more leftist slant to it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. I don't consider it that. I just understand because I'm a thinking person that these are creative arts, right?
Right.
So, creative arts are naturally going to have a more liberal bent to them. It's just kind of the way that pulls.
I need to see that.
You're all going to have that bias, man. Like, maybe just try to be a normal human being and take your politics out of the entertainment and just try to be entertained, man.
Yeah.
It's possible. I'm a normal person that's one way. I've got some shit that I'm conservative about. I got some shit I'm liberal about. But here's the thing. I don't have these things on the brain when I'm sitting down to watch fucking Riverdale. I'm just watching and enjoying Riverdale.
You aren't playing Final Fantasy VI and saying how woke it is that Terra's the main character.
Yeah, except that they're stupid because Tara's not the main character. It's an ensemble cast. That's what I would tell them.
Yeah.
Did that actually happen? Did somebody actually fucking say that?
No, I'm just making a joke, but.
Oh, okay. I was just saying, well, it's hard to tell these things. It's genuinely hard to tell.
It is. It's very hard to tell.
The joke is that that could very well be something one of the students said. And, like, I don't know. It's this thing. Did you happen to catch my conversation with OJ Brown?
Yes, I remember like watching. I got distracted because I was going to watch your stream with that because I was very curious about this guy because he was getting into a fucking heated ass argument with OJ.
Yeah, him and OJ got really hit. That went off the fucking rails, man. But it was still fun. I mean, we had a lot of fun. And I think Brown's gonna come on. We're gonna talk about comic books. I know he's more of a comics guy than a games guy. But yeah, yeah, I was not convinced by his arguments.
What were his arguments?
Huh?
What?
Huh?
Oh, did I cut out? Sorry. I was curious.
I'll make it through that because he said what are his arguments and what not.
Oh God. Just.
Because there were none.
There were no arguments.
The argument, as far as I can tell, is Forspoken is woke because it's protagonist.
You know.
Think of that much as you will.
Speaking of which, I've still got to find some time to try out Forspoken. I didn't pick it up because like the gameplay didn't really look all that interesting, but I might get it on a sale.
Well, my whole thing with Forspoken, and I have not played it, so therefore I don't have an opinion on it. It just doesn't look like my cup of tea.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like my cup of tea. It has nothing to do with the protag. His problems with the protag, again, make of that what you will. My problem is that every piece of writing I ever saw in that game looked crazy as shit, and the gameplay didn't look good.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was like a because I kind of want to try it because I do want to try out a few more fantasy series RPGs. Because a lot of the RPGs I've been playing recently don't really have that kind of mystic fantasy setting.
What do you consider Morrowind?
Morrowind is a big maybe. Do I have to like download a ROM for it?
Morrowind should be an absolute yes. They just put out another piece of content that's like 70 more hours. Now you're in the Anvil County from Oblivion.
Wow.
But it's the third era's lore, and it's the history going on, what's going on in that, like 20 years before Oblivion. It's really cool, man.
Isn't like the Morrowind... Isn't the Morrowind stuff you're playing like a complete remaster of the game, or am I like thinking of something else?
Oh, yeah, no. The Morrowind I put together is like my carefully chosen 20 years of experience in modding and curating that game. Yeah, it's like, you can basically look at my Morrowind as like an ultimate fucking personal director's cut of like everything that made that game great, plus a whole bunch of content that makes it even better and bigger and deeper. But for example, if you watch my streams, like the island of Varkville, that's the base game. It's just the island. But then you've got the entire rest of the country surrounding it. That's what Tamriel rebuilt that in. Now you've got chunks of Skyrim and you've got chunks of Cyrodiil that you can visit. We're about to get another chunk of the mainland. That's going to be the capital city of the Halalu, which is Narcissus, called Grassy Fortune. That's going to be robbing. They're shooting for Mayberg, but again, they don't like Dave. So I didn't say that yet. They don't like us to throw dates out there because it could be the year after. You just never know. It's an all volunteer project. They don't get paid. So, but yeah, it's Morrowind is the gift that keeps on giving. You can check in at least twice to 3 times a year for some absolutely phenomenal new mods. You're going to absolutely like right now. There's a painting mod. Somebody just put out a mod called Murder put out a mod called The Joy of Painting that it literally lets you paint watercolors, colored pencil, oil paintings, look at anything, you can set it up and you can paint it, and it recreates that image in front of your canvas.
That's
And it saves
actually
it in your file.
that's actually really fucking rad. That is really cool.
Let me show you. Let me show you a painting I just did actually. I just did this painting in game. This is my newest painting. So I need to go to data files. I need to go to textures. I think that's where it's kept. I need to go to the job folder, toy up painting job, and save paintings, vertical drawing, and there's my Enigma character right there.
Hmm.
Now, my painting skill is very low level, and
Uh,
as you gain level in your painting skill, your paintings get more crisp and clear.
mm-hmm.
So
Quick.
there's my current painting.
Oh, that is very nice. It's a monkey
Yep.
man.
And basically, what you do is it just recreates whatever. So I just set my character up next to a boat off the dock available. That's what you get. Pulls that up, man, and then it
Inter-
saves it automatically. Now you can also frame that, and you can hang that on like walls, so you can really hang your art on the walls in the game.
Interesting.
So that came out recently. There's a fishing mod that came out that lets you fish and collect fish. Um, yeah, there's all kinds of it just keeps getting better. There's this new overhaul of the Escadian Isles that turns the Escadian Isles region into this absolutely gorgeous religious pilgrimage that has to do with like the Tribunal Temple. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm rocking like 280 mods, something like that. Graphical mod.
That's
This is
crazy.
just the actual ESCs that alter the game files. So yeah, man. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, modding is
So
such a fast.
Marwin Marwin should definitely be on your list.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to add it. Stuff like mods are just so fascinating to me now that I'm a PC owner because my buddy gifted me Stardew today and he sent me a bunch of mods that we're gonna play with and it's like really interesting to see how much PC gamers can push these games to a new level.
Basically, it gives your game like a forever end life because like your game can never die as long as it's a perfectly viable game with open source engine. Now that's gonna vary. So like if you look at mods from like Cyberpunk, or you look at mods from like Dark Souls, or you look at mods from like say Resident Evil games, Witcher 3, you're not going to get as good mods, and the reason for that is they don't have the actual engine that the developers use.
Mm-hmm.
With the Elder Scrolls and with some of the Fallout games, now that changed actually, Chris. That changed. As of Fallout 4, I think it was, and as of Starfield, were the first games that Bethesda did where they don't give you the construction set that was used to create the game itself. So
That's
one of the reasons why Morrowind and games like Stardew Valley and Minecraft are so moddable is because they either gave you the actual code to the game, the source code to the game for modding, an altered version of it, so you can't replicate the game itself, or they gave you the construction set, the set of tools that the devs literally used to build the game. And
fascinating.
that's what allows you to put a fucking painting engine into the game, like right there.
I never knew that. I just assumed people were just making it. I still don't know a huge amount about like
No, the ability to crack the tools. Now, some tools get cracked. They eventually cracked some of the Witcher's tools, which is how you got like new land mods and things like that, but it took them forever. Whereas with a game like Morrowind, with a game like Skyrim, with a game like Oblivion or New Vegas or Fallout 3, there was nothing to crack. When you bought the game on PC, it came with the construction set. The devs literally said, yeah, by the way, here's the game tools. Here's what we use to create the game. Have fun.
interesting.
Now there's tools like Blender. So one of the toughest avenues to making something like say Narcissus area in Marvel, Sureball Shin area, is that region is entirely different than Farmville. It's got red canyons, thing to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing like that in Marvel's actual textures and meshes or anything. So making those assets from scratch for the first 15 years of the project was a huge bottleneck until Blender. So the Blender is a animation software that allows you to very easily make meshes and textures from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And when Marwin got a Blender plugin, that
Yeah, I've seen some stuff from Blender. Like there are certain YouTubers who do like skits utilizing Blender, and like they're stupidly fucking funny. And it's always been curious. I've always wanted to utilize it, use Blender for my vids, but I just don't have the money to pay for it.
Yeah, that's how you get, like right here, that's how you get something like this, for example. Like, nothing like this. There's nothing like this anywhere in the Morrowind game. Nothing like this. They had to make almost all of this shit here is made from scratch.
That's actually insane.
Mm-hmm.
All of that from.
Whereas before, yeah, they've been developing Narcissus, I think, since 2017. They've been working on Narcissus area. So that's the next release. That's the one we'll be hopefully seeing. They said May 1st. I'm going to go ahead and guess by the end of summer we'll guarantee to have this. Guarantee to have this by then. Um, that is going to open up a massive new area. They said that's another 120 hours of quest content.
Jesus. That's fucking
Yep.
Final Fantasy 14 levels of things dropped.
Yeah, so again, when I talk about, I'm a little bit of when I talk about sunk cost, like here I am criticizing Persona 5. This game, with what I put together, probably has 1,000 hours of content in it if you did everything. Well, you can't do everything in Morrowind because some factions are exclusive. So, for example, you can't join House Halalu and also join House Redoran. They're exclusive factions.
Mm-hmm.
Can't join the Tribunal Temple and the Imperial Cult. They're exclusionary. Um, can't join the Twin Lamps and join, like, the Monotone. Um, so you actually can't do everything in one playthrough. Um, but if you were to do all the guilds you can do with one character, let's say if you're a martial character, let's say you do a playthrough of the main quest, the Imperial Legion, the Fighters Guild. Let's say you have some magic, so you join the Mages Guild. Fighters
Mm-hmm.
Guild is going to cut you off from the Thieves Guild, so you can't join that. You might join the Morag Tong to do assassinations. You might join either the Temple or the Imperial Cult. Probably the Imperial Cult since you're in the Legion. Can't join any Great Houses since you're in the Imperial Legion. And then because you're an Imperial aligned, you might as well join the East Empire Company as well. So that's like 8 factions. Now that's too many, by the way. You should never play Morrowind and play 8 factions. Never do that. That's insane.
All right, I
I
won't.
like to role play, but that's just my way. Some people are completionists, right?
Right, like our
But
friend
I
Gerard.
like it in a game like Morrowind. I like to role play. So I might play as a character who is a fallen priest who's trying to find enlightenment again. Well, he's going to join the itinerant priest, and he's going to join maybe either the Tribunal Temple or the Imperial Cult because those are more religious-oriented factions, right? Um, like another character might be an imperialist, a Cenarian imperialist, who is there to do the Emperor's duty. He's going to join Imperial Legion. He's not going to do the guilds because those are just mercenaries for hire. So he's going to do the Imperial Legion, the East Empire Company, and the Blades, which is the Imperial Intelligence Services, and the Imperial Cult.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an Empire character. There might be another character that's like a Dunmer nativist. He might join one of the 3 great houses, soon to be 5, because they're eventually going to give us the other 2 great houses that were on the original game. He's going to join one of the great houses. He joined the Tribunal Temple, the Morag Tong, and maybe the Ashlander tribe, one of the Ashlander tribes. So that's the way I like to play this game. I like to really immerse myself in the world. But it really varies. But yeah, if you're trying to do as much stuff as you can cram into one playthrough, yeah, you're probably looking at 1,000 hours if you do everything. But your character will burn out. Your character will get so strong it'll be a boring game, and you'll burn out before you even get through half of it.
Ah, so it's better to just stick with. So it's sort of like playing a Souls game. Then it's better to just stick with a few things for your first playthrough than try to do everything.
I genuinely try to, especially with all the content I've added, it's feasible to do everything. I've done a completionist run, quote unquote everything, because again, some factions are exclusive. You can only join one great house, but I try to do quote unquote. I've done everything on a vanilla game. But yeah, with Tamriel rebuilt, adding 3.5 times the game world size, and all of that stuff has all those quest lines. Crimson. That's not the
Mm-hmm.
thing. It's not only just land. It's quests that are added. It's storylines and quests. So all of those cities are getting finder skills. All of those cities where it happens are going to get a Great House Lalu quest line. They're going to get an Imperial Legion for That stuff comes with actual content, not just a world.
Interesting.
And it's as good a quality, if not better quality, than the vanilla at this point. At this point, the guys at Tamriel Rebuilt have been working on this 3 times longer than Bethesda ever did. They are masters of this game's engine in a way that Bethesda never could even dream of.
Yeah. All right. So your little discussion has got me to wish list Morrowind on Steam.
I'm good at that. I got Phil watching Riverdale right now, so I'm good at getting people to do this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm an evangelist for stuff.
Wish listed both it and Skyrim.
Yep. Skyrim's okay. You're gonna have to play that with mods, Crimson, to get anything out of it. You're gonna have to.
I mean, I used to play it a lot as a kid, and I liked it, but maybe I was just stupid back then. Who knows?
It's not that you're stupid. It's the fact that it is a genuinely fun game for a long time. That game is fun, but I find the world, and again, once you play Morrowind, it's hard to go back to Skyrim just because the complexity and the depth of the world. That I would say Skyrim is more of a straight power fantasy, which is fun for a little while, and that's why people play it. Morrowind is going to immerse you in a world, and it's going to immerse you in its geopolitical conflicts, and it's going to immerse you in genuine mythological storytelling. So that moment when, like I tell people, that moment when you are, it asks the question. So the kind of storyline is like, okay, you're sent to Morrowind by the Emperor from jail. You're dropped off there. And the goal is to serve the Empire. The Empire wants you to fulfill a prophecy that the Emperor has studied and thinks you may fulfill. Because there's a problem in Red Mountain. There is an immortal evil known as Dagoth that is awoken there. And he is not going to be stoppable for reasons specified in the storyline. But Dagoth knows if you take the track that you are the fulfillment of prophecy, and again, the game leaves it ambiguous and open. Are you truly Nerevar Reborn, this ancient Dunmer hero? Don't know. You can play it as you're a ghoul of the Empire. You can also play it as you're genuinely a vengeful prophecy sent by the Daedric Lord Azura to right the wrongs of the Tribunal Temple and your old friend Dagoth. Because Dagoth was like your most loyal companion he was Nerevar's most loyal companion. And so when you're standing under Red Mountain in that final fateful confrontation with literally 3,000 years of history bearing down on you and him, and he asks you the question, are you truly Nerevar Reborn? And then you can answer that question any way you want. And there's just nothing like it when you have reached that penultimate moment. There's nothing like it, Crimson.
Interesting. Yeah, you're getting me more and more interested in this world. Also, before we continue, Keithius, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that.
Keithius, welcome in, buddy.
Yeah, I appreciate. Thank you for the follow. Sorry, I was listening to Grandpa Zoo tell me the stories of old Morrowind.
Oh yeah, no, there's a million different stories like that. The one that just is I'm obsessed with is the actual main quest storyline is so good.
Sleep.
So kind of give you the setup. I'll give you the setup of this world, and then we can move on because I can literally talk about Morrowind all night long. So you gotta stop me at some point.
Alrighty.
But long story short, thousands of years ago, the Dunmer used to have golden skin, right?
Mm-hmm.
And lived on Vardenfell Island with the Dwemer, which are the dwarves, basically. And little did they know that the chief tonal architect of the dwarves, Kagranak, his name was, had found the heart of a dead god. That's old Morrowind lore. So basically, the world was created. Lorkhan, which is one of the gods, tricked the other gods into creating the Mundus, the mortal world. And as punishment for that, he had his heart ripped out, and then they shot that.
Fuck.
Shot that heart into. They were angry because it took some of their power in order to create the mortal realm, so it left it weakened. And so at this point, what ends up happening is that heart lands in Red Mountain, and Kagranak and the dwarves found that heart. That's the whole thing about the storyline, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Nerevar finds this out and goes to confront his good friend Dumak Dwarfor, which is the king of the dwarves.
Hey, why'd you shoot my heart? It's gotta be a...
Yeah, so there's a heart of a dead god in Red Mountain's volcano that they found. And Kagranak is using it to basically pull powers of gods from this heart. So going on with this? And Dumac, because Kagrenac didn't tell him either, Dumac, the king of the dwarves, is like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, buddy, so go on. I don't know what you're talking about. So then he consults with Azura, which is his patron Daedra, which are light gods. And Azura confirms, no, they have the heart of Lorcan, and they're using it to construct basically what is a Gundam. I'm not even kidding you.
Oh, that's fucking rad.
They're using it to construct a new medium. So at this point, like, Nerevar's pissed because his friend lied to him. So Nerevar goes back with his three council, his wife Almalexia, his other good friend Vivek, his other friend Vorn Dagoth, and his sorcerer Sathasil. And they go before Dumac clad in arms and armor this time, and with their armies behind him, and he says, hey, stop doing this. And at that point it's war because now Dumac's insulted. He doesn't know what's going on either. And that leads to the clash at Red Mountain. Well, at the end of this, they find the heart. And this ends with the dwarves actually vanishing from the surface of the planet because Kagrenac uses his tools he crafted to tap into the heart, and when he does the ritual, all the dwarves vanish. He basically displaced their entire race.
Dog. Man, imagine being remembered like that. Your biggest screw up was getting rid of your entire race.
Yeah, the dwarves are gone. Yeah, they're just gone. They're not there anymore. We don't know where they're at.
So whatever happened to that one dwarf who always came here for supplies? Timmy, there's a long story tied to that one.
Yeah, they're all gone. They're all gone. So now left alone with these tools which can tap this heart, and having seen the dwarves just vanish, Nerevar is like, don't touch these tools. Dagoth, watch these tools, okay? I'm going to go consult with my wife and my advisors. We're going to find out what we're going to do about this, but make sure nobody uses these tools. So he leaves and goes and consults, and he makes them swear an oath on Azura, which is their patron Daedra, never to use those tools. This is a bad idea. And he says, I'm going to go consult with Azura for advice, but swear an oath to me that you won't use them. They said, sure, that's fine. He swore the oath. Now here's where shit gets hazy. This is where actual history is used to kind of obscure things, right? So now what ends up happening is, depending on who you believe, two things happened. Story number one, his friends killed him. They murdered Nerevar while he attempted to commune with Azura.
Dog.
And then went and used the tools to make themselves gods. That's number one. That's story number one. Story number two is they agreed not to use the tools. They went back. Dagoth, now deranged from the power of the tools, refused to give the tools up, telling Nerevar, I told you no, I would never let anybody use them, and that includes all of you. Dagoth, a fight engages between Nerevar, his advisors, and Dagoth. Dagoth is mortally wounded and driven into the volcano, but Nerevar sustains lethal wounds. In the process, it dies. The tribunal then break their oath and become gods.
We are
Now, who you believe is up to you. Nothing is ever confirmed. Having studied the lore for years, I have my suspicions as to what happened.
Honestly,
I think I know what happened.
Honestly, I got to admit, I actually really love that kind of storytelling where it's like, oh yeah, we tell you the first and second part, but the final section where we'll leave that up to your studies.
There's even a third account. There's even a third account you find, which is that Nerevar and Dumac Dorfort, the kings, killed each other.
It's what I like about Souls games, where it's like, oh yeah, you have the basic plot, but then like everything underneath you can discover.
Same thing, yes. So now fast forward all these years later. So his three buddies use the tools, they become gods, and they use these divine powers to basically build Morrowind into one of the strongest countries in Tamriel. Like, even the Empire can't really conquer it. Not really, because of the power of these three demigods, right? But
the three demigods, Suicune, Entei, and Raikyo.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But there's a fourth.
Oh, fuck.
They were all of them deceived, you see, because there was a fourth. Dagoth was not dead. Dagoth awoke from his wounds. And somehow, throughout the hundreds and hundreds of years he was alone with the heart, he basically was able to bind himself directly to the heart of Lorcan.
Ooh. So he became
Becoming
basically his own. He became a demigod by fusing with the heart.
not a demigod, basically a god.
Oh fuck.
He became he became the heart. He's actually called a heart-like. Him and his brothers, who he also brought back and binded to the heart's power as well. So it is Dagothar's consciousness, but the power is it's not. But your old friend is dead. Vorin Dagoth is dead at this point, but it is the power of the heart controlled and bound to the consciousness of your old friend.
Damn, where's Sora when you need him? He could have handled all this hard stuff.
Yeah. So, so at this point, the only way, and this is what's great about the end game of this game, man. It's what's so great about it. The only way out of this situation, and the demigods finally, like, Amalek's of the next officer will finally realize this. Well, at least Vivek does, but there's more on the other two later. Vivek's like, hey, you have to destroy the heart. That's going to kill us when you do that. We are going to lose our powers when that happens. But at this point, we can't stop it. We lost the tools about 200 years ago. We lost the tools to Dagothar. The only of the three tools we have is Wraithguard. He has the tools. He has almost all the tools, and he has the heart. And the ghost fence, which is containing him and his blight, is failing. And soon he's going to march on all of Morrowind and Tamriel. This mad god.
That is.
With this divine disease that's going to spread everywhere.
Oh, come on. He's going to give you God AIDS? That's rude.
That's one of the best fucking ways I've ever heard you put that.
He's going to give you God herpes. What a dick.
Yes. So basically what you have to do is, like, he's sending you there to do something, and that's what's great. It's a whole meditation on power as well, because it's the one thing that Dagothar would never suspect you to do. Dagothar is like, oh, you come to steal the heart from me? Good luck. Have you come to bow down to me and rekindle our friendship? Have you come to share? Would you like to share the heart's power? The one thing he never even thought you would do is destroy me, because he's so mad with power at this point that he could never conceive someone destroying such a gift.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Like, that's a good way to write someone mad with power. Like, oh no, there's no way you would give it up. I wouldn't create. I love this. There's no way anyone else wouldn't.
Well, it's so funny because when you first strike it hard, like, you hear him, and he's like mocking you, and then all of a sudden he's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop!"
Stop it! No!
Yeah, it's great. It's great storytelling, but yeah, it's incredible. But again, like, no, it's not even spoiling anything, because literally the details are what matters, and the ambiguity of what actually happened, and it doesn't tell you. You have to basically kind of clue in all kinds of things throughout the game to kind of piece together the story of what happened. It's very much like Dark Souls before Dark Souls, yeah. In
Yeah.
terms of its story structure. Yeah,
Honestly,
because basically there's books throughout the world, and there's first hand and second hand and third hand accounts.
yeah, like one thing I've really liked about like I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I have ideas for a game I want to make one day. Like, it's a turn-based RPG, and a big aspect of the story is there's going to be like a main story you go through, but like on the side it's going to take inspiration from Dark Souls, and now I know this Morrowind, and have like this big lore in the background you find by like going to libraries and running into people.
Huh?
And the whole
Talking to people, reading books, yeah.
yeah, because the whole idea I had for the game in general was like there's these beings, like the original creator of the universe was just called the Original One. And his whole thing was like he created these creatures known as Celestions to go around and basically guide the world so it entered this perfect utopia. Like, he basically sent out these soldiers to basically influence people in life. Like, for a comparison, imagine if like there was a person out there who created people like Nikola Tesla or Albert Einstein. Basically, you'd show up at this point in time and you'd push society forward as a result. And one of the main antagonists of the game is one of those Celestions who does push the world forward, but his push forward, he starts to realize humans aren't progressing as fast as they should. Like, the beings across the universe aren't pushing to this one true utopia as fast as they should. And he stays alive. He sees them get involved in wars. He sees them get involved in like constant struggles. And then he's just like, you know what? Yeah, and then like his whole concept is, you know what? Maybe the original one didn't fully think this through. Maybe I should restart humanity with the knowledge I have about humans and make them perfect beings that can't be flawed. Sort of just creating mindless drones that makes no one different from the other.
Yeah, kind of like in Shin Megami Tensei 3. What is it? Takawa is. What is it? His rule or his reason? Shinjima, stillness.
You know, I've never.
Basically, it's like creating like stillness.
Yeah, you know what? I've never really played any of the Shin Megami Tensei games. I should really give them a shot. Like Nocturne
You
looked really
really
fun.
need to. Yeah, Nocturne is life changing. It's amazing. It's another one of those games that just blew my fucking mind.
Yeah, and it's just like the whole idea is like he does, but then like the other Celestions stop him, and the result is basically in the last few moments before he dies, he uses the last of his strength to create this little seed that would grow into another version of him, infused with his corpse, so he could get this new powered version from 1,000 years of strength and gathering, mixed with the one of like literal millennia of strength to become nigh unstoppable.
That sounds dope, man.
Yeah, and the whole idea is like you have, and I want it to be like a 3-part series where it's like you go through. The main thing I wanted to do is because I wanted to set it in space, because you don't really see a lot of JRPGs utilize, like RPGs in general, utilize space nowadays.
No, it's very rare. It's almost like they're afraid of sci-fi, right?
Right, like because like in the 2000s, like Star Ocean utilizes it kinda, but that's mostly like you're landing on planets. And I don't really, and those are planets are magically have the godly ability to always just be stuck in the Middle Ages where you're using swords. But like,
Yeah, you don't see a lot. Like off the top of my head, like yeah, it's like Star Ocean, Xeno.
yeah, Xenosaga does it.
Um, yeah, the Xeno games, Star Ocean. Well, Black there, like Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, like I guess you could kind of count Final Fantasy, but that's more like sci-fi setting. Like that's not
Final
like
Fantasy
space.
4. Yeah, you go to the damn moon in Final Fantasy 4.
Yeah, man, that was such a trippy fucking ending, bro. Like, but
They do it to you 3 times because well, they do it to you twice because first there's the underground and then there's the fucking moon.
yeah, man, I still remember playing through 4 and like reviewing that, and like I still stand by that it's a great game, but they do not handle the concept of death very well in that one.
Rydia, no! Oh, hi, Rydia.
Yeah, like my personal favorite. Oh, trust me, that one's funny. The funniest one is Sid, who straps it's implied he straps bombs to his chest, jumps down, gives Golbez the middle fucking finger, and blows up the entrance, and then he just shows up in bed like nothing's wrong.
It's like these guys are like invincible. These guys must be heart whites or something. They just come back every time.
Yeah, or the twins that basically the literal story tells you they can't come back, and then they just do at the end. I was laughing when that happened because I've never seen a game just so okay.
Honestly, it's a fair critique, but it's part of its charm to me at this point. Like, it's just part of that game's charm.
Yeah, I still love 4. Like it's so funny to see them.
4 is the Riverdale of Final Fantasy.
Oh, is Riverdale like that?
Riverdale, there's nothing like Riverdale.
All right.
There's absolutely nothing else like Riverdale. So, I am going to try and paint this, okay?
All right.
So, when I want to paint a picture of what Riverdale becomes, there's 3 scenes that I will specifically point to in terms of the writing. Scene number 1. Now keep in mind, this is an Archie comic show, okay? This is about Archie Andrews, little Archie Andrews, like the high school kid in the 50s, right?
Wait, it is?
Yes, this is a show. So Riverdale is a show that is loosely, and I mean loosely, based around the misadventures of Archie Andrews, Veronica, Lodge, and Betty, can't think of her last name, and Jughead.
Mm-hmm.
So, now with that in mind, so you're thinking like burgers at the diner.
I'm thinking. Yeah. Okay. So before you continue, first of all, I want to shout out Keithius. I'm used to the Marwyn lore from Zoo. Me too. I've talked to him a fair number of times about it. He's very interested in me in it. And second off, when I think of Archie, before you continue, I'm going to say what I think of Archie. I think of a guy in a dorky-looking sweater trying to woo girls and win over the dad who doesn't like him with golf. Now, I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to listen to what you have to say because I'm very curious on what this does differently.
Well, you know what? Do you have the ability to share a YouTube video?
I should? Yeah, I think if you send me it.
Okay, I'm gonna put it in the chat, and we will just let the intro to this play.
Alrighty.
And then from there we'll discuss. I mean, I could explain it, but I'm gonna let somebody equally fascinated by it explain it because he has all the talking points in video format. Because this is insane.
It sounds like it from what I'm hearing from you. Like,
and they'll get a kick out of this. They genuinely will. Like this is gourmet garbage, baby. That's how I sold Phil on the show.
okay, is it as insane as like seasons 2 of Transformers, like from the first series, where out of nowhere they just go to Atlantis? Like,
I will just show you.
okay, because
All right.
what the fuck? The show that went.
Play that video. Just play
Here's a
that
few
video.
out of context moments from Riverdale. One attendee of Riverdale High is discovered to be a grown woman pretending to be a high school student. There's
What?
a group of homoerotic superheroes. A
What?
17-year-old competes in a bare-knuckle boxing match with an evil billionaire to take control of the town. There is a magic word that wipes people's memories and puts them into a violent murder trance.
What?
There is a cult of evil subterranean nuns known as the Sisters of Quiet Mercy. The character spends the night playing Dungeons and Dragons with ghosts before beating himself to death with a baseball bat. A girl is haunted by an evil doll. The town of Riverdale is invaded by zombies. There are 9 serial killers across 4 seasons, one of whom is an 11-foot tall monster known as the Gargoyle King. This happens.
Mr. Shipping? I'm sorry, Jackass. I couldn't help you.
Okay, I'm writing down this show. I gotta watch that. He just jumps out the fucking window. Oh my god, you were not kidding. Okay, there's a cult of nuns.
Well, a good starting point for this conversation, okay?
There we go. It's in all caps.
So those are the scenes that John likes to use when he describes Riverdale, okay? I'm gonna give you some more.
Oh, I just noticed this is Eye Patch Wolf.
Yeah, Super Eye Patch Wolf, yeah.
Alright.
So the scene that will forever stick out to me is that in season 3, the main villain of season 3, who is the leader of an organ harvesting cult.
What?
The leader of an organ harvesting cult.
Oh my god.
And Edgar Evernever is chased by Betty, who has a gun, onto the roof of his cult compound, where he is dressed as Evel Knievel, along with a belt buckle with his name on it, getting ready to get into his rocket ship that he has made to escape the FBI.
What the fuck?
Give me a second. Edgar Evernever rocket ship.
This show sounds like a fucking acid trip. Like,
yeah, here it is. So here's the picture that is ingrained in my fucking memory. This is the moment that I said, this might be the greatest thing I've ever done.
he looks like Evel Knievel.
Literally. As an actual still shot from an actual show about our theaters.
Dude, I gotta see this show. What can I watch it on?
Netflix.
Wait, it's
All
not.
7 seasons.
Oh, is it done?
It's done. Yeah, it's done now. Yeah, 124 episodes of television.
That's insanity.
Now, the first season is actually like a Twin Peaks style murder darkness. But after that, the show literally loses its fucking mind.
It sounds like it. That's got to be amazing. Like,
oh, we're not even done yet. So we haven't even talked about, like, for example, we haven't talked about the fist fight with the mechanical ant people. We haven't talked about that.
the mechanical ant people.
Yeah, we haven't talked about their fist fight with the mechanical ant people. We haven't talked about Archie going to, like, boy prison and being forced to fight in bare knuckle boxing competitions. We haven't talked about the fact that Hiram Lodge, Veronica Lodge's dad, the one that Archie tries to impress by playing golf with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, we haven't talked about the fact that, like, he literally plants a time bomb under their bed, which blows them into another reality, a darker, edgier world called Riverdale. We haven't talked about the fact that the villain in season 6 is Percival Pickens, a 2,000-year-old dark wizard and founder of the town, who is trying to utilize Riverdale to build a ghost train that will bring forward, like, a world-devouring demon. We haven't talked about the fact that the time bomb that Hiram Lodge left under Archie's bed gave them all superpowers.
Oh my god.
All that, yeah, like all that. We haven't talked about the fact that Cheryl Blossom saves the town by using lesbian space witch magic to smash a meteor that's hurtling toward the town.
Yeah, this show sounds like when my friend explained to me Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and now I have to watch both of these.
Yeah, Riverdale, it's a masterpiece. So basically, I want to utilize something that John talks about, and that is the mediocre value. Okay, so the only real sin that any real show can have is not to be bad and not to be good, but to be mediocre.
I agree with that.
But there's a certain point where you have a show that is both highly quality and highly entertaining. That's your Cowboy Bebops, your Hunter X Hunters, your Yu Yu Hakusho shows for anime. That's shows like The Sopranos, Breaking Bad for traditional television. It's video games like Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got content that is extremely bad, but also extremely entertaining. That's on the other end of the mediocre valley at the other peak. It's things like The Room, or Batman and Robin the movie, or probably a good video game example of something that is highly entertaining, dog shit.
Dragon Ball Sagas. Dragon Ball Sagas is...
Dragon Ball Sagas, okay, but it's still immensely entertaining.
Yeah.
And then you've got the valley. That is where something is not high quality and not entertaining. Season 1 is in the mediocre valley. But after season 1, starting with the last episode of season 1, the show slowly starts to rise up to be that gourmet garbage, man.
Alright.
That everybody likes.
So I gotta...
There's another line of the show I like, which is that Hiram Lodge, who's again, that's Veronica Lodge's rich millionaire dad, that is like a mob boss of industrialists. And like, he goes to jail at the end of like season 4. And then like 2 days later, like, Veronica gets home. Veronica is a teenager who owns a nightclub, by the way. This is the world of Riverdale, ladies and gentlemen. But she gets home, and her dad is like sitting at his desk. By the way, Hiram Lodge is such a great villain. Hiram Lodge is a man, a grown-ass man, who in his office hangs a portrait of himself behind him.
What a fucking douche.
And so he's just sitting at his desk, and she's like, Dad, I thought you were in jail. He looks her dead in her shit, Crimson, and he says, Veronica, I own that jail. They even know how fucking stupid this is. Like, nobody owns a jail. Like, jails are like public commons. Like, what the fuck? And so later on, you have like Cheryl Blossom's mom's like, I assure you, Hiram Lodge has gave me all assurances that he's going to take care of me from within his private jail.
His private jail.
Yes. Yeah. He just throw that to it. Oh, by the way, that scene where the guy eats himself out the window for no fucking reason, that happens twice in the same room, in the same window.
That's awesome.
It happens again 3 seasons later. Another guy jumps out the same window.
Oh my god, this sounds amazing.
It's at a certain point they just said fuck it. They just stopped caring.
I mean, if it wins people over,
Yeah, the show's ratings. It's now the highest. It's now one of the highest watched teen dramas of all time.
I can understand
Where
why.
it was just the Twin Peaks 20. Yeah. Like, especially once they get superpowers. Oh, it's so fun. Like, Archie gets super strength. And, like, Veronica gets, like, sex in them. I'm not even kidding. She sleeps with somebody that I get poisoned to die. Like, bro. Like, Betty has the ability to see the aura of people and see if they're a serial killer.
Oh, that's crazy.
And again, like, people are like, oh, so you're spoiling it. No, I'm not. No, I'm fucking not. Go watch it. Go watch Jughead be the leader of a fucking biker gang and, like, cut people's tattoos off. Like, for every moment I'm naming, there's 500 crazier, zanier things that I'm not naming. Just trust me on that. The whole Gargoyle King storyline, the whole goddamn Gargoyle King storyline. Let's go watch it.
Alrighty, I will.
I got Phil watching. He's on season 5. He's like, when does this get good? I'm like, keep watching. Episode 13.
Alrighty, then. Yeah.
Season 1, episode 13. There is a scene. I'm going to give no context for this. But Cheryl, like, squeezing honeycombs in her hand, says, "For I am Cheryl Blossom, Queen of the Bees."
The bees.
Literally says that.
Oh my god, you are making me put this higher and higher on my priority list as we speak.
It's very good. I'm going to watch the time when we're done here.
Oh.
I'm on season 7.
Alrighty.
And again, it's like, do you actually like this zoo? Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
There can be some. It's like liking Independence Day. You can like stupid stuff. Like, that's what's fun about it.
100%. If it's fun, life is too short to not have as much fun as possible. And Riverdale is some of the funnest I've ever had with a television show after season 1.
Yeah.
Again, I see that again. Until the end of season 1, Riverdale is it's a mediocre Twin Peaks. It literally is. But after they introduce the Black Hood serial killer, and that becomes the judge of the next season, it just goes absolutely bananas. And then they introduce Hiram Lodge, and then it's hook, line, and sinker, baby. And after that moment, like when you get Hiram Lodge's backstory, and it's the same actor who looks like he could be literally they're all in their late 30s, by the way, in classic CW fashion, playing high schoolers' parents. Every single one of them. And so, what's so funny about that dude is that, like, you've got Hiram Lodge, and then he's also in the same scene. It's just him. Even though it's younger, it's just him because he looks like he could be young anyway. And then he plays his dad, Guerrero Lodge, and Guerrero Lodge is just Hiram Lodge wearing a mustache. And it just keeps cutting back and forth to him and his dad. It's the same actor. It's the same actor, except he has a mustache and he has some gray in his hair. Like, they grayed his hair up and given him a mustache. Same actor. They knew what they were doing. I swear to God, they knew what they were doing. It's... The whole backstory is fascinating, too, man. Like, apparently, like, the same guy who they gave the rights to do Riverdale to is the same guy they once served a cease and desist for doing, like, a gay Archie stage play because they were worried that it would infringe on the IP's, like, integrity.
That's...
And then, and to know more about this guy, it's like, yeah, I did a stage play once that contained 2 Christmas trees, 2 Christmas trees, a witch's broom, and a giant squid. Like the play he did. The Christmas play he did.
Alright.
This is just a guy that is just fucking bananas. And in the best possible way. Like,
We need more people making media like that. We need crazy people making media.
well, and the sad thing is, because I did a follow-up to his Riverdale video, and he's like, the sad thing is the guy who plays Archie's dad is like, just enjoy it because this show is probably the last of its kind. To be honest with you, you'll probably never see another big budget. Well, it did have a big budget. Look at that rocket ship.
Yeah.
You'll probably never see a big budget, serially seasoned, 120 episode behemoth of a show ever again. Anymore, most shows are lucky if they last 3 seasons. You're lucky if you get 3.
Yeah.
Almost certainly will peter out after 5. So it is probably the last of that like long serialized era of television. There's just too much competition. The ocean's too red in television to support these large multi-season shows anymore. There's just not enough people watching any singular show, right?
It's sad to see, but yeah. And plus, most of the people are now just watching, are now just using streaming services, so.
Yeah, that factors in as well. It's kind of the same thing that's happening to video games. Do you ever get the idea that there's just too many video games anymore?
What was that? Sorry, your mic cut out a little bit for me.
Do you ever get the idea that there's just too many damn video games anymore?
Yeah, I feel like we're getting, like, on one hand, I'm happy it's a lot of games, but at the same time, it's like, damn, that's a lot of games.
On the other hand, for every game that's a success, there's going to be 1,000 failures.
Yeah.
Like, it is the reddest of red oceans right now, man. I mean, it's great, good, it's great, but there's not enough customer dollars to support as many games as it's coming out. It's just not.
Yeah, I
When you
think.
factor in the indies, fucking forget about it, man. Like, it's even, now you can go look at Steam and look at how many games is coming out every single day, man.
Yeah, and then mix in the fact that a lot of that stuff is, it mixes in with a lot of shovelware too. So take the good games that are coming out constantly, mix that in with the shovelware that's coming out constantly.
Yeah, it's hard to even find like little hidden gems like you used to be able to anymore. Again, for every hidden gem, you're gonna find pieces of shovelware.
Yeah, because it's just
Like,
easy to put a game out now.
I play Mouthwashing. Mouthwashing was fantastic.
I've heard about that game.
Mouthwashing is good. Yeah, you should absolutely play Mouthwashing. Mouthwashing is a great meditation on the horror of enablers, the horror of people who enable bad behavior. Basically, it's the horror of being too polite.
What's the game on? Is it just on Steam or?
It's on Steam. Yeah, I don't think this game is ever coming to Switch or to any console for that matter, because of some of its.
Isn't there like a girl who gets assaulted?
I'm not going to confirm or deny anything in case you or anybody else wants to play it, but there's every depravity you can think of is in Mouthwashing.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
It's a hard game to play. It's a hard game to play through, but I took a lot away from it. I feel like I got my money's worth for sure.
All right, it's added to my wish list.
Yeah, what you been playing?
Well, I've been playing a lot of oh, no, that's not what I meant to do. There we go. I've been playing a lot of, as the usual, RPGs as the channel goes. Like, Brothership's been one of the main things. I've been playing Fantasia Neo Dimension, but I've been getting really into roguelikes.
Fabulous.
It's super good. Like,
Your head is like amazing.
yeah, Fantasia Neo Dimension is so fun. Like, it genuinely bugs me that this game was locked to the Apple Arcade for as long as it was, because this could have been a renaissance of turn-based games if this had dropped on the PS3 era.
It was locked on Apple for a while?
Yeah, it came out first on Apple Arcade, and then in 2024 they re-released it. It was either Apple Arcade or the Epic Game Store. It was one of those, but you couldn't get it on consoles or anything.
Let me dust my ear out. Which game is this?
This is Fantasia Neo Dimension.
No fucking way they locked that?
Yeah, for a few years. It wasn't until last year that you could get it on multiple consoles. It was an Apple Arcade exclusive. Yeah, I'm checking just to be certain, so I don't.
Oh, that is infuriating, my dude.
Let's see. Yeah, it
Nobody
was.
has that.
Yeah, it was. You played it on Apple devices via the Apple Arcade platform. And then they decided to remaster it.
That's fucking why would you do? That's a self-decapitation if you're a business.
Yeah. So it got.
Let's lock this JRPG. Let's lock already a niche genre. Let's lock this to a service that almost nobody uses for video games.
Yeah, they did that. They did that in with Sonic as well for Dream Team. Killed momentum of the game fast.
That's stupid. Speaking of Sonic, you seen the Sonic movie yet?
Oh yeah, I saw Sonic 3. I loved it.
I heard it's like one of the better movies of 2024. Actually, people are raving about that movie.
Yeah, it's very good.
We were supposed to see it this weekend. We didn't make time, so we're gonna go see it next weekend. I want to see that. And I want to see Nosferatu. Kind of the two I really want to see.
I also saw Wicked with my mom, and that's probably my movie of the year.
I heard they did good. I heard they did a good job with Wicked.
Wicked was very good. Like
I heard nothing but good things about Wicked.
Yeah, when I saw it, I thought it was just gonna be a straight musical, but they tell a very interesting. As someone who's never seen the original Wizard of Oz, they tell a very interesting story here.
You've never seen OG Wizard?
Nope. I didn't watch a lot of movies as a kid. Like growing up, like it wasn't until like a couple of years ago that I started to get more into movies.
Gotcha. What was the hobby? Was it video games more than movies? Or?
It was video games and a lot of card game. I was super into stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So if I was watching something on TV, it was usually Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon, and then I would just play a bunch of Mario games.
Well, I remember OG Pokemon. Like one of my earliest memories of like. Well, I mean, not earliest, because earliest is like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, He-Man, that kind of shit.
Speaking of TMNT, I did watch the 2003 version as a kid. There was a lot of stuff I watched as a kid.
See, that was like the 89, 90s Ninja Turtles was kind of my era.
That was back.
But then in terms of like when Pokemon came out, I did catch the Pokemon TV show. And I'll never forget it because my dad would sit there and he would make fun of the fact that the words weren't the dub because the words weren't matching the mouse.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would also make fun of Brock because Brock's eyes were closed. And so I'll always have that memory of like my dad being like, "Open your eyes, Brock."
I think he does in one episode.
Like he actually opens his eyes.
I think it's like a joke, but then he like closed that. I could be wrong.
That's funny. Yeah, now I'm gonna try to send that to my dad because that's old school.
Yeah. Been rewatching some of older Pokemon when working on my videos because I like to have something on my second monitor.
Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. Yeah, he did it. There it is.
Yeah. Like,
holy shit.
Holy shit. Yeah, I just kind of like having something. I forgot how funny the original Pokemon season was. Yeah. I think that's an edit, but I could be wrong.
Oh, that's an edit?
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, okay. Damn.
I also just remember how much of an asshole Ash was in like the first season. Like, he was such a dick.
He trashed Misty's bike. He almost killed his Pikachu.
He insults pretty much everybody. Like,
Yeah, no, the kid is a little dick.
yeah, but I think that's supposed to be the point, though. He's a very inexperienced, overconfident kid, and that kind of gets knocked out of him.
You remember, like, oh yeah, when he fucking loses, spoiler alert, guys.
Yeah.
He loses early.
Yeah, in the original, I like the idea that he loses because his Charizard won't listen. He loses in the league because his Charizard doesn't listen to him.
Uh-huh.
I think that's a good way to show that he's not fully ready to be a champion.
Uh-huh. That was good. Do you remember all the hype around the Pokemon first movie? Were you there for that?
Yeah, I remember getting that on VHS and watching that and breaking down in tears when I thought Ash died, because that scene is still really fucking sad to this day.
No, that movie is very effective at what it does.
Yeah, it's very well made.
So they did a good job. What I love about it is they actually grip, and you know me, I'm a sucker for when they grip from classical literature. They absolutely grip from Frankenstein, Dr. Moreau. They grip from all kinds of classic shit.
Yeah. It also helps that
You can tell they were reading when they did that movie.
I also like how Mewtwo is like written in that movie. Like he kills the people who made him, and then he works with Giovanni for a while, and he realizes Giovanni's just an asshole. Then he just decides, I'm gonna kill every human.
Yeah, like basically it's Frankenstein. It's the Frankenstein story.
Yeah.
Like you made me with no purpose but to serve you. Like you guys are terrible. Humanity is terrible.
Yeah, Mewtwo
Like
is.
I was born with love and affection just like all you were, and you snuffed it out of me.
Yeah, it's such a fascinating. He's such a fascinating character. I don't really think there's ever been a Pokemon villain as good as him, outside of the games
No,
with N.
yeah, Mewtwo is tops. Mewtwo is very tops. I like Mewtwo a lot.
Yeah, shame his like
That
follow-up movies have not been as good.
that's I gotta tell you, I didn't care for the next one as much, which was the mythical bird movie. It's like,
2000 is an interesting idea. Like I like the idea of him going and like Ash dealing with the legendary birds. But
Right.
that chosen one subplot is really fucking stupid.
yeah,
And more than anything, the villain it doesn't make any sense. He's just put the legendaries in a Pokeball, you fucking idiot.
yeah, no, that
He's like, I want to capture these Pokemon. Then put them in a fucking Pokeball, you psychopath. Don't electrocute torture them.
yeah, it was crazy. Like, yeah, that guy was an idiot.
Yeah, he's
Good job, dummy. About to destroy the world.
yeah. And then we got the best movie in my opinion. If you ever saw that one with Entei.
I've not seen. Is that the Unknown and Entei movie?
Yeah, that one is probably my absolute favorite Pokemon movie.
Okay, have to check that out.
Just because of the whole idea that it actively does something a lot of the movies don't really do well and gives Ash a reason to be part of the story. Because his mom gets kidnapped by Entei.
Okay. Oh, Entei's a bad guy. Okay.
So yeah, so for some context here, like there's this little girl, I don't remember her name, but her dad went off on an exposition. The last thing he told her was like this bedtime story of how powerful and cool Entei was.
Okay.
And the thing is, her dad like just straight up dies. Like he dies on the expedition.
Oh crap. Okay.
And in her like literal trauma, the Unknown come down and grant her this illusion version of Entei. That basically she calls her dad. Like the whole concept of the movie is this girl is like trying to get through the loss of her dad, and Entei is sort of being this.
It's a little bit of an examination on trauma, then, which is good.
Yeah, and like you also get this crazy moment where Charizard comes back and he fights Entei, and it like the thing about this Entei is he can control like crystals and stuff. So you get this really rad moment of Entei climbing up this tower by making crystal stairs that are just shaped like spikes, and then he nearly fucking executes Charizard. Yeah, he has his hand on his neck, and he literally just goes, "This will end it." It's just like, oh my god, they're gonna kill Charizard.
Yeah, Entei's not fucking around.
Yeah, I'd argue it's probably the darkest Pokemon movie, but it's also the most engaging from a narrative perspective.
Okay, yeah, okay, I'll check that out. Now, how about anime recommendations? What you got for me?
Have you seen Dandadan?
I'm not.
Been watched through like the first season with my buddy in Discord. That is very good. If Fragrant did not come out last year, it would absolutely be my anime of the year.
Fragrant is amazing.
Yeah, like I the usual of watch One Piece, but
I'm at Thriller Bark on One Piece. I'm slowly but surely.
alrighty, finally we're going somewhere. I'm getting more people addicted.
Yep. I've taken up the between you and Emily, and like 1,000 other people screaming that at me. I got to tell you what I like about One Piece is I think it has genuinely unparalleled world building.
Yes, that is one of the best aspects of One Piece is how good its world is.
Like not only world building, but I always was impressed with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure for solving the power creep problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you another anime that did it in its own way, and that is One Piece. Because One Piece has devil fruits, it's got weapon classes and categories and grades, it's got hockey, And all of these are kind of distinct and differentiated power tiers, basically.
Yeah.
They can just vastly affect fights.
Out of curiosity, how far are you into One Piece?
I just got to the Thriller Bark arc.
Okay, so you're at Thriller Bark.
Just into this gigantic, like, island-sized ship, basically.
Yeah, so you're at where they meet Brook.
Yes.
I was going to ask if you've seen any of like the emotional moments, but you're at Thriller Bark. You've already seen a bunch of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I've been through Crocodile, and I've been through, which that was wild. Like, yeah, he had Luffy beat.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite aspects of Alabasta is like, it's the first arc that making Alabasta the first arc where they're on the Grand Line is such a smart idea because with Crocodile, it just kind of shows you're not like the original pirates you were dealing with were just kind of thugs. Arlong was kind of the closest you got, but this is what you're going to be, what Luffy is going to be dealing with in the Grand Line. Every guy he meets after it is 5 times more dangerous than Crocodile, a dude who nearly destroyed a country.
Yes. Yeah, the Grand Line. Like, there's a reason why they blockade it. They don't play once you get through the Grand Line.
Yeah, like the Grand Line is very much you're now out in the area where the One Piece is supposed to be. You're not going to make it unless you're ready.
Right. That's like literally kind of like the Navy blockade.
Like the Navy blockade, the Admiral is introduced. The first ever Admiral is like introduced right after Alabasta, so you get to see how strong the best of the military is.
Huh? Oh, dude, yeah, the military. Yeah, the admirals. I did not expect that, by the way.
Yeah, I love the fact that the Admirals are like fucking 15 feet tall. That's also just really funny to me.
Oh, they're all huge, yeah.
They're big boys.
Yeah, they're all massive and powerful, just insanely powerful.
Yeah.
And I understand there's people like, oh, just you wait, just you fucking wait.
Yeah, there is.
You haven't seen anything like, and I'm just like, what? Is there stuff stronger than admirals? And they're like, yes? Question mark.
Yes.
But no, admirals are some of the strongest you're gonna see in the whole world.
Yes, the Admirals are like the strongest, but there are people much stronger than the Admirals.
Yeah, that's what they said. You're going to be introduced to a few characters that rival the admirals in power.
Yeah, once you start to get to the Warlords and then the Holy Knights, you start to see like this is the ultimate top like pinnacle of One Piece power.
Right, and then of course there's like the big bad, which I haven't even been introduced to apparently, and it literally can just destroy an entire.
Yes, that is. I'll say they're tied to the Navy, but not in the way you might think.
Oh, okay, yeah, apparently they're not their own thing, yeah.
Yeah, they're like this complete subset called the Holy Knights. Like I haven't like reached them either, but like they're basically the heads of the world government, which is a lore point is one of the main aspects of the world government is that no one is supposed to be at the top. Like the world government is an equality among everybody. Like, and there's not meant to be a head leader outside of the fleet admiral, who's just kind of the head of the soldiers.
Right, it's supposed to be like an empty throne, basically. It's like symbolic.
Yeah, and then they reveal later on that that's bullshit. Like, the world government has basically lied about there being someone at the top, because there actually is a leader of the world government.
Oh, shit. Well, that's kind of like the interesting through line on that, is that, like, the power structures are corrupt to their core, and basically, like, we need a revolution to throw this shit off, which is like, yes, that's fantastic, actually.
Yeah,
that's actually what got me. That is actually what got me to finally watch it. Is I had a buddy of mine tell me, it's like, hey, it's about pirate solidarity and overthrowing like a corrupt power structure, right? Like,
kind of. That's kind of what it's about. The aspect of the world government and a lot of the characters in the show is that it's a very moral gray area. Like, it's very much, there's not exactly like, for every good Marine that exists, there's one that's rotten to the core. Then while there's like
in real life, right? Like nothing's ever like black and white. There's always these different shades of gray, and it's complicated.
Yeah, like
just like with the pirates, there's good pirates and there's monstrously awful pirates.
Yeah, there's guys like Luffy.
We've already seen it.
Yeah, there's like you'll see guys like Luffy who are pirates, but at the end of the day, they're still pretty good people. But then you'll meet guys like Crocodile or Doflamingo or fucking I'm trying to remember the name of the guy from Thriller Bark. Mora, I think his name is.
Yes,
Yeah, there are twisted people on the world, just so there are guys like Luffy or Ace who will like help out people or be courteous.
And the same thing in the Navy, and same thing in the world government, right?
Yeah, for every like guy like you see Kobe
People
like
trying to do good.
yeah, you see that at like the very start of the series when he saves Zoro. Like Kobe like has this whole belief that the navies are the good guys. And he's only seen like the asshole pirates, and then it's like he sees this guy who I also, by the way, I love the fact that that guy shows up again and he's like Colby's best friend, and he's now like a hard,
That's really funny.
yeah, like he's actually working hard and trying to become better. I love that. Like,
Well, that's the other thing, by the way. The way that this show treats even the most minor characters that you think are minor, they're not minor. There is no minor character in this show, and I am convinced of this at this point. There is no character that is just like, okay, that character was cool, never gonna see him again. No, I'm gonna see him again at some point, and he will have undergone a character transformation or metamorphosis based on the experiences he's had. Buggy,
yeah.
fucking Buggy, and I'm sure Buggy's not done.
Oh no, no,
I've
no,
already
no.
seen more character growth in fucking Buggy. Fucking Buggy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it, but Buggy gets some of the most hilarious shit in the world because he literally becomes a like. No, I'm not gonna say it because it's immensely funny to just see his accomplishments.
A throwaway villain. This would be a throwaway villain in any other show. Or just like the heavyset lady. The heavyset lady. Literally the first person Luffy fights comes back. And now she's mad because he called her fat, and she's not fat anymore.
Yeah.
Damn devil fruit to send her down.
Yeah, they
Now
love.
she specifically wants revenge on Luffy because he called her fat.
Yeah, there's also the like what was the one you know Bellamy, the spring guy that Luffy beats in a punch before Sky Island. Yeah, he comes back and he plays a major role in one of the post. He plays legit a major role in one of the post time skip arcs.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
they.
heard there's a time skip at some point.
Yes, you're actually coming up on it. I think in a couple of arcs you'll get to it. You'll also be getting to one of the best arcs.
Okay. Yeah, Marineford.
Marineford is yes. I remember picking up Marine.
I have heard tales of this legendary anime arc. I know nothing about it, so no spoilers. But
I won't.
Everybody's like, wait for Marineford.
Yeah, I won't spoil anything, but I will say this: it's one of the best arcs that captures the concept of war perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Interesting.
Yes, I won't say what happens. I won't say what goes on. But reading this, the way Oda writes and draws it, it legit feels like you're watching a war happen in real time.
The dude is so talented. By the way, apparently he's been planning this like his entire life.
Yes, I think he
This
has.
is like this whole thing is like a clinic on like world building and storytelling.
Yeah.
Long-term booking and storytelling.
He's also
Like, this guy can write for fucking pro wrestling. He's so good.
he's also mentioned that I think we're supposed to be getting to the end of One Piece. Because like I think Oda has mentioned like with the finish, you know, the most recent arc was Wano, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Wano was like their. Yeah, he's fighting some big club guy.
Yeah, he's fighting
that's all I know.
he's fighting basically one of the strongest people in the world. But
so club guy is really, really strong.
yes, he's recorded, his name's Kaido, and he's basically recorded at, I haven't gotten to Wano myself, I know all of the major twists because of how big they were, but the whole thing about Kaido is he's one of the strongest pirates and just people in the entire world. Like,
So this is one of the guys in the Navy, even the admirals are kind of.
yes, this is one of the guys that even the admirals don't want to really mess with.
Yeah.
And like, you get us, all I know from him,
I heard there's like 4 of them that the admirals are like,
yeah, they're known as the Four Emperors. They're basically the 4 most powerful and like most wanted pirates in the world. Shanks is one of them.
The way I've been told is that like, could an admiral beat them theoretically? Yes, but it's so much of a toss up and that they just kind of steer clear of each other.
Yeah, the admirals basically, I think it's implied at one point that, well, the
It
admirals,
would take an admiral to beat some of these guys, yeah.
yes, it's like, not only would it take an admiral or maybe even 2, it would also imply that the risk of losing too many soldiers against them is not something that the military wants to take.
Right.
Like, they are way too much. It's like trying to pick a fight with a country that could just carpet bomb you. Like, it's not worth the risk.
Yeah, like, and my understanding is like, yeah, that these guys, that's not just their single power; it's the fact that they command basically like armies of people too. Like they have their own peeps.
Yeah, like,
Like
warlords
at
are.
this point, we're getting into like nation strength, like pirates. Nation,
Yes, like, Kaido is
like
basically
they can
as.
have fleets of people, just like the admiral.
Yeah, that's sort of what they're, like, really tackling with the Emperors is, like, there's a reason, like, Luffy and so many others don't just straight up fight these guys. They could kill you in seconds if they felt like it.
Okay, yeah. This is it's just like wild power levels at this point.
And, like, Oda has, I think it's, because a lot of stuff happens after Wano that basically implies we're reaching the end of the story.
Oh, okay.
Like, because I'm certain you've seen the form Luffy gets there. Like, it was all across
Yeah,
social media.
like the laughing golden guy.
Yeah, like Joy Boy or Gear 5 as they call it. Like, that ties into a lot of shit in the late game.
Gotcha.
Like, there's a lot of stuff that's tied to that, like, genuinely becomes.
Yeah, I saw that form. Like, oh, it looks like Luffy got like a real big power boost, basically.
Yeah, like the whole form. I love the idea of the form. It's like literally everything becomes a cartoon. Like, you literally.
That is wild. So it kind of plays onto the rubber thing.
Yeah, the whole thing, because, like, Luffy's whole power was based off rubber hose animation, so he basically becomes a rubber hose animation character. Like, when he's jumping around, the ground bounces around. When he, like, gets surprised, his eyes pop out of his head like a cartoon.
Okay.
The whole power is basically pure joy, and it's great. That's why they call it Joy Boy.
That's awesome.
It's very.
Man.
It's got me very excited to catch up because I'm at Dressrosa right now. I'm like a couple hundred chapters away.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're getting close.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to make that one of my goals for 2025 is to catch up on One Piece.
Okay. Yeah, a noble goal for sure. 100%. It's a good show. Really good show.
Yeah.
Really good show. As for my anime recommendations, Delicious in Dungeon.
You and Kaiser was telling me about that. I've got that on the list.
Delicious in Dungeon is magical. It's very fun. I want to eat the ghost ice cream. I need to eat the ghost ice cream.
Ghost ice cream.
Yeah, it's like Dungeons and Dragons, except they eat them. They really, really unique spins on the classical fights, and then they eat them afterwards.
That's such a good idea.
So like the whole thing is like they fight these ghosts, these terrible ghosts, but they make this like amazing Oreo, like rainbow magical light ghost ice cream.
That's
It's
actually.
like the most magical sherbet in the fucking world. It looks so good to eat.
It looks like there's like 100 chapters. So yeah, I could probably read that real quick.
The Delicious in Dungeon is great. Very good. Odd Taxi is also really good. I'm really fond of Odd Taxi.
Odd Taxi.
Yep, yeah, Odd Taxi. Let me get that pulled up for you and show you.
Oh, I've got it pulled up right now.
Yeah.
Little
Odd
Walrus.
Taxi is great. Uh-huh.
I like the character designs. I might check that out.
Yeah, Odd Taxi is really good. And then when it finally gets an anime, very, very excited for the potential for Elusive Samurai to get like a genuinely good anime.
Oh yeah, isn't it getting like a? Wasn't it getting like a remake or something or?
I hope so. Elusive Samurai is amazing. But whatever, I gotta pick it back up. What I read of it is an amazing concept. Basically, in order to avenge like his family, this samurai who's not as strong as his enemies, basically has to recruit this like dirty dozen cast of like followers who are much stronger than him, but he's commanding them basically to fight in his stead. You know, as a former samurai lord,
Interesting.
son of a samurai lord who's been killed by his enemies, and it's very, very. The fights are very good.
Yeah, like I'm someone who primarily reads manga, so I always like it when I can get like a manga that's finished.
I've got manga. I've got, and I The anime setup I have is great.
Yeah, like I think that, and I'll probably try to tackle some more Junji Ito stuff this year.
Oh, okay. Now it's time to talk about things that make me sad.
Oh, you mean the Uzumaki adaptation?
Uzumaki adaptation.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I stuck solely to the manga because I saw some clips and I'm like, dog, what the fuck happened? Like,
So I'm both sad and I'm happy. And here's my thinking on this, right?
mm-hmm.
So I'm sad because I'll start with why I'm happy. I'm happy because for decades now, Crimson,
Mm-hmm.
I have labored under the assumption that because of the unique aspect of the page turn, that we cannot get a real, genuine Junji Ito adaptation. It's impossible. Every one has been dog shit. Every single one has been awful. That awful Netflix Junji Ito shit.
Oh, was the Netflix one
And then
bad?
the Netflix one was bad. They're all bad, but the Netflix one was atrocious. It was atrocious. I always point to there's a scene where I forget the actual short story they were doing, but there's a story that in Junji Ito's actual manga, the family is sitting there eating breakfast, and there's tension. You can see the tension in the way she sits, in the way it's framed to where she's much smaller framed than the family around her. You can see the tension on her face. You can see the rest of the family is eating breakfast. This is a girl who just realized that her family is spying on her. And yet, when you go and watch the Netflix adaptation of that episode, it's almost as if they sat and they read that anime, they read that manga, and all they got out of that shot was just a family sitting there eating breakfast. All of the subtlety of scene and the horror of that scene and what had just transpired the night before is gone.
Damn.
It's not even present in the shot. It's not even present in the animation. It's just they're all sitting there eating breakfast.
Yeah, that always sucks when they can't nail the adaptation.
So that was what Junji Ito was cursed to forever be, basically, like a recursive spiral, if you get the pun, of
Oh, I
shitty
do.
adaptation after shitty adaptation. Now, then Uzumaki episode 1 drops, and it's fucking one of the best pieces of animation I've ever seen.
Yeah, they nailed. Like, I'll say this: as bad as that anime got, like its first episode is still a masterclass.
That first episode is one of the best pieces of animation I've ever seen put to anything, and it proves that if they fucking wanted to, they could do it.
Yeah, and then I heard like they had to outsource it during the COVID pandemic.
The rest is dog shit. The rest is awful. But again, I have hope that one day, what that is proof, that is a proof of concept that a Junji Ito anime can work. It's a shame that we'll never get a real Uzumaki. That is the Uzumaki adaptation. That's it. That's what we're getting. And that sucks. They'll probably never do another one of those. That makes me sadder than you can ever know. But
Yeah.
it gives me hope that something like Kyo or Hellstar Remina, um, or the Apology Demon, or Tomie, or one of these other long form Junji Ito stories can get a proper adaptation. And to me, that piece of hope is beautiful. It's fucking beautiful, man.
Yeah, from what I've seen of Junji Ito, it really does suck that he doesn't really get a whole lot of good adaptations because his work is really good.
It's really hard, though. It's really fucking hard. And the reason for that is because of the unique medium of horror, Junji Ito's scares and the way he writes relies on the page turn. And the page turn is notoriously difficult. It is notoriously hard to get right. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But they did it. They fucking did it.
And then
So,
it happened. Just
and then, yeah, and then they decided to cheap out for
Right.
But man, they can do it, Crimson. They can fucking do it. And that's what it means.
I have hope. I have hope that one day we'll get it.
I mean, maybe. Is Junji Ito, after seeing his work butchered like that, is he going to want to do it again? That's kind of my concern. But again, we have the first episode. Junji Ito, if he wants to focus on the first episode, he can look at that and go, yeah, it's really good, man.
Mm-hmm.
They can do this.
I really do hope. Like I've said it again, and like repeating it. You know, maybe if I repeat it enough times, it'll come true. Give him a good adaptation. Does he even have any good like fan adaptations of his work? Or
Not man. I mean, it was about the episode 1. That's it. That's the one.
That's all. Damn.
Yeah, the rest is pretty dog shit.
Also, quick question.
I would like to see Hellstar Remina. That's what I would like to see. To that first quality. I would like to see a Hellstar Remina animated to the quality of that first episode. I think that would be the most badass thing in the world.
Definitely need. Yeah, I gotta find more time for that stuff. Like I'm so busy because I'm so close to like.
Hellstar Remina is my favorite. It is. I love that so much.
I'll have to write it down because I know his works are usually pretty short, right? Like 20 chapters.
Yeah, they're not. So that's one of his longer works. It's a multi-part story. It's not a short story.
All right.
It's an actual full like visual novel. But Hellstar Remina is basically so a woman's dad names a planet he discovered after his daughter Remina, right?
Mm-hmm.
And basically, this new planet has been discovered the first time in like many years. They've discovered a brand new planet, but then something peculiar starts happening. The planet suddenly starts to move.
Oh shit.
And the planet starts to move faster than light speed. And the planet is slowly making its way toward Earth. To bring the horror up a slight notch, every star that this planet interacts with disappears. It goes out. The planet is now in our solar system. It is now consumed. Uranus.
That's wow.
Consumed Pluto. It's beginning to consume the planets in our system.
And it's called
So
Help.
there's the horror of, it's called Hellstar Remina. Hellstar Remina is a living demonic planet. It has, we looked at it and it looked back at us and it started coming to us.
Hellstar Remina manga. Yeah.
Now, that's one story written on, which is basically the destruction of our planet in the hands of this Eldritch monster. But there's another level of horror, which is how the people of the planet react to this happening. That's the real horror story.
There we go. 6 chapters, huh?
Yeah, Hellstar Remina could be fantastic.
All right. I'll have to read it later.
Have you started Berserk?
Yes, I'm on chapter 100 right now.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, if you have Berserk the manga, I would. Yeah, Kitaro Miura's absolute masterpiece.
Yeah,
There's nothing drawn like it.
I've never seen an art as like well depicted as his.
Closest I can give you is actually a webcomic. It's called Kill 6 Billion Demons, and it's the later books in that Kill 6 Billion Demons.
Yeah,
It's
like
as close as you're ever gonna get.
the man.
And by the way, it's not close.
The man was a master of the craft. Rest in peace.
I mean, that guy painted the Sistine Chapel every time he put that pen to paper.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever.
People think I'm exaggerating. I'm not. Go fucking look.
Yeah, read Berserk and.
Go look at any splash page in any. Just open up any random image in that manga. Any image.
Yeah, there was a level of detail you just don't see.
I'm not even lying. There is nothing like that. Nothing like that. And his best friend is trying his best. And I think the story is working out very well so far. The image quality, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's just not there anymore. Because again, you cannot replicate that art style. For one, like he doesn't have the time to replicate the art. That guy took his fuck. I mean, you're talking about one of the only mangas. People who don't know how manga works, a lot of people are like that manga. That stuff comes out on a very strict schedule. It's only a few select artists that basically have fuck you money, like um, Araki, Araki for JoJo's, or Mira for Berserk. They can actually buck that shonen trend of, hey, we need something every week from you.
Yeah.
There's
There's
not that many manga artists that can literally say, yeah, you'll get the panel when it's done, and they'll say okay.
Yeah, I feel like the guy who writes Hunter x Hunter also gets that as well.
Yeah, yeah, Hunter x Hunter gets that. Maybe One Piece. No, I think One Piece is still weekly.
Yeah, One Piece. He's taking a break because he had some health problems, but One Piece is still very much weekly.
Yep. So even, but to be fair, like One Piece is good, but One Piece does not have that level. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that. I'm not saying that that artist couldn't do that. He's capable of amazing things, but because of that once a week schedule output, he can't.
Yeah, the closest that you can get that you got from like modern day stuff like that was like the guy who made My Hero, because he did weekly and his art looked phenomenal.
Yeah, people are still trying to figure out how he managed to do that. By the way, what would you like fries with that, Crimson?
Oh God. Thank God he beat
Would you like fries with that?
Thank God my boy beat the fraud allegations.
Did he? Oh, did he? Okay, so I must not have gotten caught up then.
Yeah, in the epilogue chapter,
I was so pissed. My boy Midoriya is a fry guy. He's a punk bitch, and Bakugo the Chad is just. I was so mad. I was so angry at the fate of Mizuki Midoriya. It kind of works, but I just hate it for him. But did they fix it? Did they fix it?
So in the ending, he does get the robotic suit, and he's now a pro hero. But a big aspect of the epilogue is,
okay.
Yeah, he now does that along with his job. And like one of the best aspects of the epilogue is Bakugo offers him a job to join his agency, and Izuku turns it down, showing how much he's changed, and he no longer follows Bakugo's lead. He ends up also, like, the final chapter also confirms that he starts dating Uraraka.
Oh, so him and Uraraka doing it. Okay, so.
Yeah.
I was like, doesn't get the girl, doesn't get to be a hero anymore.
And, like, a big thing about the hero is, like, now that the League of Villains...
Get my Whopper, bitch. Get my Whopper, bitch. Make sure the fries are well done.
Yeah, like, a big thing about the epilogue is how it ties in, Hero Society is slowly disappearing now that, like, All for One has been defeated, and, like, Shigaraki has been stopped. So it's like, they're sort of talking... So, like, it's sort of like this talk of, like, oh, yeah, sooner or later, heroes aren't really going to be needed all that much anymore. So I think it's best we push this new generation into focusing on stuff that doesn't revolve around that.
Do you feel like Shigaraki got cheated a little bit?
I think, in a way, I like the concept of it. I think it could have been executed better, but I like the idea that in the end, some people just are unable to be saved. But in that one moment, Izuku was there for him. Yeah, I do. I'm not a huge fan of how he started to get taken over by All for One. I kind of liked it when he was sort of going his own path.
I hated that because he had really set up for Shigaraki to be his own villain with his own motivations.
Yeah, I think they should have.
See it just get subsumed again by All for One. It's like, god damn it. I get it that basically the orc itself, All for One was the true villain, but like it's the actual vestige of the orc itself. I get that, but. At the same time, like, man, I love that Shigaraki basically evolved because he was just so betrayed by everybody and so twisted and fucked up by what had happened to him. He's just like, you know what, we're going to end all of this.
Yeah.
That's a very different goal from All for One security.
Yeah, that's, I do think, Toga's ending. I do think Toga's ending and Dabi's ending is handled well.
Dabi's ending was fabulous.
Yeah, like Toga getting the one.
Toga's ending was, I was cutting some onions when I watched that.
Yeah, like, at least in her final moments, she had somebody.
Yeah. In the end.
It also led to one of the greatest memes from that series where she's like, "Am I cute?" and Uraraka just saying "domain expansion." She's just ready to fucking execute her. Just.
Yeah, so she's
Uh.
yeah, that was yeah, those fights were. I just wish Shigaraki would have maintained his own unique villainy instead of being consumed by All for One. You know, it was always heading that way. It makes sense thematically for what they were doing, but damn, I feel like my boy Shigaraki never got a chance to truly shine on his own. Which again, that was the point of him. He was always just a vessel. He was always being raised just as a vessel.
Yeah.
I get it, but him telling him that basically destroyed any last vestige of resistance he had. Like, damn. All for One is a cruel bastard.
He is. I still think his battle with All Might in for their first ever fight, not their final one, is the best moment in the series.
Oh, we talk about that absolute all-out brawl between the Weekend All for One, Weekend All Might in season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solely for one moment there's one moment in particular I love from that, where like when they're fighting, he gets like everyone finally sees All Might's true form because that's like been a close kept secret. And then he's like, "I'm still the symbol of peace." And he goes, "Here, maybe this will fuck with you. That villain you've been training to defeat, that's your mentor's grandchild."
That was such a fucking moment.
And he is just having a blast telling him this. Just, where's your smile now, All Might?
So All for One is a deliciously evil villain.
Yeah,
That
like...
is a guy that's just living his best villainous life.
Yeah, like... I think what's best about that is he's just like, "You're lying." He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, I'm not. Of course I'd do something like this. Like, he's so proud of it. It's like, of course I'd fuck with you like this. Who do you think I am?
Yeah, I would still love to see their original fight, like the fully powered All for One versus a fully powered All Might.
I would...
But I know it's best. It's actually best that we don't see it because our imaginations do the work.
Yeah, especially...
I would like to see it.
Like... I wouldn't mind it. Like, I'd say you don't need to do it, but I know for a fact that they released a My Hero movie about, like, him fighting him. That I would go see that day one. I won't even lie.
Absolutely go see it, but you're right. They don't need to do it. They probably should.
Yeah, because I think that, like, because it's implied to be a super fucking gory fight, and I like the idea that they leave it ambiguous, because, like, All for One kind of mentions in their fight, like, yeah, that rush... when I even see you in my deepest nightmares, so All Might beat his ass so bad he has nightmares about it. Like,
well, that's the first time. What's so funny about it is that was the first time. Typically, all of the One for All inheritors basically were on the run from All for One, and that was the first time. Like All Might was hunting. He was hunting All for One.
he was the first guy to beat All for One too, which is like...
But not only beat him, I mean, he actively sought All for One out. So most of them were hiding from him.
Yeah, they were hiding and trying to make the power stronger. All Might's like, "You killed my master. I'ma fuck you up."
Well, what's funny is like his mentor even said, "You're not ready," and he did not listen.
Yeah,
To be fair, he wasn't. He got mortally wounded.
yeah, but he beat the guy so bad he has to wear a fucking mask to breathe properly. Like, when you first ever see All for One, you're like, "My God, All Might."
Yeah, he's literally Mr. Potato Head. Like,
He literally has to breathe through like a machine, and it's like, God damn.
by the way, that's how badly he beat. Like, he thought he killed him. That's what he thought he killed him. And if it wasn't for that piece of shit doctor, he would have killed him.
Yeah, and like I love that. Like I said, I love that line where it's just like, yeah, every time in my nightmares, I see you charging at me with your organs flopping out of your body, and it's the one thing that stuck with me more than anything. Like, yeah, All Might traumatized this man. It's like, we need more heroes like All Might, bro.
Yeah, All Might is smashed. I'll tell you the other moment in that series. Like, the first time, like, that Nobu is basically like an invincible dude.
Oh yeah, and he punches him so hard, he just...
All Might just shows up and smashes his head. He's like, alright, well, I can't, okay, 100% isn't doing it, so we'll just have to go beyond that.
Yeah, I still think All Might is...
So bad.
Yeah, I still think All Might is like the best part of My Hero Academia. He is one of my favorite new gen characters.
All Might's fantastic, yeah. He's
Like,
really
his mannerisms, the way he interacts with like Midoriya, like the father-son, master-student relationship they have it's really heartwarming. You can tell how much they care about each other.
Oh, it's great. And like just the genuine like number one hero, not just in power, but just in the way he conducted himself. There was nobody close.
I love that he's like like I know he probably wasn't meant to be, but he is like what everyone wants Superman to be. He's a bat.
He's like the real Superman.
Yeah, he's the Superman we've all wanted. Like he's super powerful, he's super kind, he's likable, he's funny.
Well, then it's just like the other one. Actually, I'll tell you, it was the person who was originally going to inherit it before he ran into Midoriya.
Oh, it was Mirio. Yeah, Mirio.
Who I understand is he like the number one hero now?
Yeah, I think he is. I think Bakugo's not even number 2. I think he's in like the top 15.
Okay, yeah, no, Mirio he was next level from the start.
Yeah, he beat the entire Class 1A in his first introduction.
That fight with Overhaul where he fought him without his powers, like, damn.
Yeah, he is Lemillion. I'm so sad how the anime handled that. It's so good in the manga. Although, I'll give them this, they made up for it with Izuku fighting Overhaul, which is still one of my favorite fights. When you finally get to see what he's like at 100... Yeah, I loved his fight with Izuku. That's like because it's the one moment where you really get to see Izuku going all out with no repercussions.
Yes, this is, like, yeah, literally, yep. Yep, that's a true hero. It's like, yeah, no powers, doesn't matter, still gonna fight you.
Yeah.
He absolutely could have been a one for all bear. Absolutely could have been.
Yeah, he was actually supposed to be the first choice, like. And then.
He was actually going basically the senior. My understanding was that day.
Yeah, he was actually Night. I think in the manga it's mentioned that Night Eye was the one who said he should pick it. Because that was one of the reasons Night Eye didn't like Izuku, was because he didn't think he deserved one for all.
Right, and then to see Mirio, you're like.
Okay, I can kind of see why he says that. Like.
Yeah, because Mirio, Midoriya, I think Midoriya was destined to have like this. I think he was. But outside of that, like, if anyone else were to get it, it would be Mirio.
Yeah, Mirio.
I can 100% see Mirio. And honestly, like, it's hard to argue with your boy, because adding All for One's power to that fucking quirk
would make him unstoppable.
Woo! Yeah, I think he cracks all for one and a half. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I would have liked to see, because I feel like he could have 1v1'd All for One. He could have been the guy to take him down. Like, if All Might didn't.
Oh, with that phase power?
Yeah.
On top of the other powers unlocked, he'd have to unlock it. It's implied that because even All Might was like, All Might just got the really, 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 really strong powers. He didn't unlock all the other shit.
Yeah, like I think
there's some idea that because he was quirkless, so All Might had the potential to, but it was stymied by his fight with All for One that he fought through.
Yeah, I'm like the fight with
Midoriya, he was quirkless, which means he had the ability to unlock the other quirks, whereas maybe Midoriya didn't have that.
Out of curiosity, have you ever read the fan manga 2 Inches to the Left?
I haven't.
So it's this idea where All Might. Now this is before All Might loses his powers, and the idea is like he ends up in this alternate universe where he never got the lethal wound for All for One. And the idea is very interesting because first off, Ida is dead in this timeline because he never had to pass on his power to Izuku, so he was able to continue being the number 1 hero.
Okay.
So Ida dies, and Izuku, most of all, Izuku is a villain in this timeline.
Oh shit! Okay.
So the aspect of the story is very much All Might learning that his student, that he obviously sees as a son, became a villain because it's implied that because he didn't say he was a hero without a quirk, he apparently kind of just was a lot ruder. They never state what he says to Izuku in this timeline. But because he never gave Izuku his power, because he never needed to, Izuku fell into darkness and he became a criminal.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like, it doesn't end with a happy ending. Izuku gets arrested at the end. of the series, because, you know, he was still a criminal who committed a lot of crimes.
Right.
But, like, you really get to see All Might, like, really reach out to him, understanding that he should have handled things better. Like, it's very it's very sad in a way, because you really realize how much the world would change if All Might never passed on to Izuku.
I mean, yeah, I mean, if he just smashed all for one, didn't get injured, like, yeah. Like, that guy could have gone another 20 years.
Yeah, and then it's just like him realizing, man, at this time I wouldn't have been able to bond with Izuku or pick him as my successor, because I wouldn't need to.
Yeah, just be the number one hero. And he might have unlocked all those other powers, Black Web and Fighting.
Yeah.
Fighting is so strong. That's such a strong fuck. That's a crack fucking ability.
Yeah, and then he mentions at the end, like, it doesn't really have much of a, like, continuing story. It's just very interesting that you get to see, because the guy sends him there to try to break All Might, saying, like, hey, you can't save everybody, and this should have been a reason why your precious student became a criminal because of you in this timeline. And it's just like, I was able to help him. That's what truly matters in the end.
Right.
And, like, the guy's whole power is, like, you learn he can see alternate realities where bad things happen. He's basically been cursed to see, like, every bad ending to something. And it's like why he's so pessimistic.
I fucking called that All for One was the traveling, smiling, happy man who took Opera home. I called that.
Yeah, it's such. It's.
I said that motherfucker had is All for One. Oh, no problem. I just saw he was lost. I want to make sure he got home okay. You motherfucker. Such a nasty piece of work.
Yeah, he's pure evil.
Like, I just,
Well, it's been a couple hours. I might be wrapping up in a minute. This will wrap up my first episode of Airship Lounge.
Oh, hell yeah, man. It's been fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for helping me with this. Being my first.
No, you bet.
Yeah, this is definitely probably going to be a. I'm going to try to have another one next Sunday.
Okay, yeah, you can, not be like my dumb ass, I just have it whenever. That's what we're going to follow. And, if you ever want me on, like I said, I'm going to be, I'm going to be kind of exiting stage left here pretty soon. But, again, bar's going to stay open. I'll still be in there. You know how to summon me.
Yeah. Thank you all so much. Yeah, thank you to everyone in chat who stuck around. I'll be dropping this on my second YouTube channel, and I'll be linking Switch's channel there as well, so go check it out.
Yeah, all the stuff will be up for posterity's sake. And I'll
Yeah.
start a new project, which I'm going to make you guys scavenge around. Some people have already found it, though. Which
Yeah.
is vexing to me. It's like, holy shit, people already fucking found that shit.
I had contemplated putting this on the first channel, but I decided to put it on the archive channel as well instead.
Yeah, sometimes it's good. Like, if you're like me, you don't give a shit about your actual algorithm. It's fine if you don't give a shit. But if you're trying to build a channel, doing too much live shit and mixing it with your actual video, like review and essay content will fuck the algorithm.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep it to the live plays.
It won't know what the fuck your channel's function is, basically. It won't know what to show you.
Yeah, I'm also probably going to, let me just wrap up this screen here.